All right, I think. Are we good?
We good? All right, I gotta move over then. This pillow is such an improvement.
It is because it's like it's like you're higher too, so it's like we're not like right side by side.
Yeah.
I think he was just talking about it as comfortable more than anything.
But it's comfortable for me too.
But in every way.
Oh, I'm not getting anything off of this deal then. I'm rolling with the window. That's my only comfort.
You're gonna have to fix that. Say something there, Kyle.
This movie sucks.
Okay, good.
Alright.
He's hitting right at 0.
Can we start with my... Normally we go through like you guys, what you think of the movie.
I wanted to go with you first.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the best movie so far.
Is that a genuine answer?
The genuine answer.
So
Best movie so far.
Are we just going right into it, or?
I'm going right into it.
I was
No, let's do his prediction.
But I feel like I really have to just address that.
Okay.
Okay.
I finished watching it today, and I was like, if Adam said that, it wouldn't bother me so much. I really enjoy.
As opposed to him saying it was garbage and terrible, like everyone does.
Yes. No. If he said it was his favorite so far, I'd be like, I can understand that. Yeah. I mean, it's up there for me.
Well, keep in mind, my favorite up to this point was Revenge of the Sith. Before that was Attack of the Clones. But now I've shifted these a little bit. Now that I'm watching the movies, I'm changing things.
I doubt you're going to like Rise of Skywalker more than this movie, though.
Yeah.
I just highly doubt it. Yeah.
I've realized something for sure. I have a recency bias. No question. I watch a movie, I'm like, that was good. I liked it. And then like it more than previous ones. However, I've dropped Phantom Menace way in the rankings. Now that I think more about it and I watch the next movie.
I dropped it to last for me personally.
I have it as last right now.
I think I do too, actually.
That's surprising considering it's a movie you like, you talk about all the
time. It's hard to rank Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. They're at the bottom for me.
Attack of the Clones at least had some really good moments though.
Yeah, Phantom Menace is just nothing. It's nothing.
I would say it's mediocre.
It's a bunch of bland characters doing bland things.
Yeah.
And
story's not great.
Story's unnecessary to the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so it's interesting. And now after watching this movie, you know how I was a little mixed on. Oh my god.
Revenge of the Sith is when you said you were mixed.
No, sorry, I was mixed on Kylo Ren.
Oh.
Now he's my second favorite character.
Next to Obi-Wan?
Next to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You like the shirt?
This was, it was great.
Yeah.
And no, actually it was a good scene though. But I loved the tension. It made the first movie better.
I agree.
And so that's what I kind of thought. You had mentioned that Kylo Ren was really good. And I'm like, okay, so maybe something's good. The next movie is going to really highlight that. And it did.
It does. And not in a way that's overt. You really have to think about his mental state and people around him. It's great. I want to get into all that, but I just say, I think I've championed this movie in the previous episodes, but I really like the movie a lot. Almost to the point it's the one I have the most personal attachment to because, we've said it before, this is the movie that people either hate or they love it.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, why do you hate it? It's good.
So what are let's do that. So what are you, hate or love?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it.
It was probably the very first one we've watched where it ended, and I was like, I want to watch that again.
Yeah, and this was the first one, so I actually had to stop it an hour before it was done.
And just think about it?
No, I had to stop it for other reasons. I had something to do.
I had to do laundry.
And then when I was going to go to bed, I'm like, I want to keep watching it. So I laid there and watched the rest of the movie, and I was like, oh, it's so good. I'm trying to think of the part I was at.
Well,
I feel like it was just as Luke Skywalker showed up on the base.
Oh, hologram Luke?
Hologram Luke. And so I'm like, I think he was just stepping out to face the entire army. And I was quite intrigued by that.
Yeah.
There's also, so this is to me the best movie so far, but there are a lot of
low point
moments.
This has this movie. We said this before. This movie is, even though I like this movie, it's peaks and valleys. I think the peaks are some of the highest in the entire franchise. Yeah. But the lows are what?
Yeah. There's some
storylines that don't work out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why don't we read my prediction before we get into? So this is my prediction for The Last Jedi. This is the movie where the last remaining Jedi comes in to save the day, but it wasn't someone you'd expect. No, it's Natalie Portman in a hoodie gown. And she takes
hoodie gown.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
You know what I got that from? When I was looking up the character names before we watched the series, and you mentioned, so I just saw a picture on her hoodie.
Yeah.
Hoodie gown, and she takes over as the new leader of the Jedis, and they defeat an evil spear dude. The villain sucks in this movie, and it is more about the Jedis fighting for the old ways of combat and power in the galaxy. I don't know.
That's actually completely wrong.
What?
That's actually, I was going to say, that's actually wrong. Fighting for the old ways is the exact opposite of the message of the movie.
But it's funny that it's like, at least you picked up on like that. Like, how that's like such a focus, the old ways and all that.
And I guess but just going by title and poster was all I really went by. And so maybe that's what it was. I don't know if I recognized Luke in the poster when I did this. As a way to bring back the old guard, they rebuild R2-D2. And he helps them rediscover the old art of being a Jedi. In a Rocky-type montage scene, the Jedi are shown training, lifting boulders with the Force, fighting with lightsabers, which are out of date compared to the present-day weapons.
What's that?
I say they're fighting with wet lightsabers, which are out of date compared to the present-day weapons.
Yeah, sort
and
of.
Yoda comes back to train them.
Yoda does come back.
Yeah, the series ends with all evil villains being completely erased, but one is shown to have escaped, the Mandalorian. I still don't know who the Mandalorian is.
He's just a bounty hunter guy.
Should I watch the Mandalorian?
Yeah, probably. I haven't watched it, so at some point probably.
So this is what I would have looked at. I don't know if I would have known that.
You wouldn't have known that's Mark Hamill? No.
Oh yeah, that's a good poster.
I knew it before I watched this movie, but I didn't.
The battle there at the bottom, that's pretty cool.
That's the salt planet.
Yeah.
The red trails.
Yeah, so let's hit on the high points first, like some of the over high points. I thought cinematically it was shot well for the most part.
I think I like Force Awakens had a little bit more visual flair, but this had some really good looking stuff in it.
This was a little more story driven.
Yeah, that's why.
Which I thought was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually part of why I like it.
It was quite like. At no point, I didn't even take notes for this one because I was intrigued in the story, and there were a lot of points where there were a lot of twists, and then every so often there'd be like one of those blunders we're talking about, and I'd be like, and I'd think about it and miss a minute and go back and whatever. But I would say for me personally, the high points, Kylo Ren, one of the best characters of the series, without a doubt.
Everything I think with Kylo Ren, Rey, and old Luke on the island and stuff going on with them. High points. I would watch a whole movie that was just that.
Yeah, Luke in this movie was like.
I wasn't a super fan of his acting in some spots, but I think that was just his style of acting.
I liked his acting because at any point I felt like he was just breaking into the Joker voice. I don't know. And yeah, I like him in the movie because just like he's like cynical and broken. He's like given up essentially.
Yes, yeah. I like the character. Some of the acting things were a little still back in the 80s for me, but maybe that's not a bad thing.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring up because I think that's really interesting in the movie they did that with his character. But that's also one of the sticking points people have with the movie is that they don't like that they did that to Luke's character.
Oh, really?
They think he should have just been like the hero guy. He even jokes about it. He's like, "What, did you want me to come in with a laser sword and fight the whole First Order?" People, I think, actually wanted that because they see Luke as this hero, optimistic guy, and here he is broken, crying on a. But it's also it
was probably the setup too from the end of Force Awakens, where they're like, "Oh, Luke's going to be involved now."
People, and that's another thing is I'm going to be talking about this a lot. There's parts that people love or hate. There's people who love the thing where Rey gives him the lightsaber, he throws it over his shoulders. There's people who love that, and there's people who absolutely hate it.
So there's a lot of moments. So obviously there's a lot of humor brought into this movie, dark, not dark, but just
jarringly so.
Jarring, that's the way I put it. Yeah,
they make Hux a complete joke, the commander dude, the ginger
Donald
guy.
Gleason. He's always fighting for
the
power
bitch boy.
with Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah,
bitch boy.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
He goes from being somewhat respectable in Force Awakens to be just the butt of the joke in this movie.
Is his hair getting redder in this movie? I feel like it got
redder. Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of moments where it's did we really need humor there? It just seems kind of.
I feel like it's probably because Harrison Ford's not there. They had to. They didn't find someone to be the comedic character.
So they made everyone kind of comedic, I guess.
Yeah, they had to put some somewhere.
I guess this movie still felt more comedic than Force Awakens does, though.
Oh, it did. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing, is that sometimes it's really funny and sometimes it undercuts moments where it's like...
Yes. So I was going to say 75% of the time the humor's brought in, it's funny. And I actually laughed a little bit. But then about 25% of the time I was like, you didn't need that right there.
Like the high pants, the Kylo Ren high pants with no shirt. Like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a joke. But then they go into like this really awesome like dialogue conversation where...
Well, I think the joke is when she's like, can you put on a cowl or something like that?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like they go from that to like an actual like really good scene.
Yeah.
Like... It's like, well, like, I'm laughing at it because the high pants are hilarious. But
see, to me, I didn't necessarily see that as humor. I saw it as a kind of like
an intimate moment kind of thing.
Yeah, and
I could see that. Yeah,
like I think they were trying to make the audience. They were trying to swoon the women, obviously, watching the.
Sure.
Whatever.
I mean, they do it in a bunch of Marvel movies.
Yeah, but it's. I don't know. I didn't think of it necessarily as funny. At the time, but yeah.
I wonder if I'm reading some trivia stuff. I guess Mark Hamill hated the direction for his character.
Yeah.
And I wonder, and he's been very public about that. I wonder if that has swayed some public opinion.
Maybe recently he kind of retracted a lot of those comments where he's like, yeah, you know what, I shouldn't have said this, especially publicly. So, but I think people just have that. Like, they just wanted him to come in and be the hero, but it's like a character can't grow if they come in like perfect. But like, how is that interesting to see in a movie?
Yeah, but also like he had a really good arc. Like, it ended really well. Mm-hmm. Like,
yes, they brought it together for sure. Like, I think that was a fantastic way to end his character. Although the whole thing kind of threw me off. Obviously, I didn't know it was a hologram.
So
I didn't even guess at it, to be honest.
You didn't pick up on the clues?
No.
He's using he's using his old lightsaber,
which was destroyed 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, when Kylo Ren and Rey have the tug of war.
One, yeah.
But he has one, but his is green, and it's the same hilt and it's the same blade color. So how did that happen?
He wasn't making footprints in the salt.
Yeah. And also, he survived getting shot by like a billion AT-ATs.
Well, so I knew something was either funny about that, but see, the Kylo Ren saying, no, shoot him more, like, I thought maybe they were introducing a power that he was...
I think it was just because Kylo Ren hated him so much. He's like, just obliterate him from...
But then even at the end, though, he said something like, I knew that wasn't enough, or like he like he was visibly frustrated by it, but... yeah. Anyway, like I didn't quite see that coming.
Yeah.
But I find Star Wars has been surprising me a lot throughout the whole series. Like, and I don't know if it's just my way of watching movies. I don't really think ahead too much. I'm more thinking back. So I wasn't really trying to think about what the explanation for that was. But yeah, I've been finding Star Wars really surprising me a lot, and this movie was no exception. So we kind of touched on a little bit of the highs there and some of the lows, but
yeah, the highs I want to talk about like more in depth is like Luke and stuff. Like, I really like it's called a Force dyad, which is the connection that Rey and Ren have. I really like those scenes a lot, and I think it's a really interesting way to shoot them.
Yes,
which is a criticism I know. Benny Boy, friend of the show, doesn't like this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've been there every time.
Yeah, but these are all disconnected to me. Now they'll make more sense.
But I remember there was not you were there when we were talking, and he said he didn't like those scenes because he found the execution awkward. Like, he just found it was like, I don't know. It's like you have to ask him, but he didn't like the way it was shot or presented. And I'm like, if you have an otherworldly force, like literally the Force, like, are you going to shoot it like a phone call with a split screen? Like, I think showing it like that, making it kind of like maybe awkward, but it's a little otherworldly, like the connection, the way it's shown. I think that's like the perfect way to show that.
It's very clear after you see it for the first time. It's very clear every time it happens, like what's happening.
Yes, it took the first time for me to understand it, though.
Yeah,
like, I didn't get it.
You're disoriented, kind of like the characters in the movie are, because they don't know what's happening either.
Yeah, but it's like there's like a tonal shift in everything, like with the movie when it's happening. So it's like you're like. When they say it, it's like, oh, they're talking to the other one. You know, like it's quite easy to understand.
And I like the detail that they bring certain elements of the environment with them when they're connecting.
Yes.
There's that part where after they're done talking, Kylo Ren has like water on his hands because it was raining where she was.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and like their conversations are great. It says a lot about Kylo. Like the whole movie, when it's and that part on them on the island, it excels because it's just a bunch of people trying to understand each other, like their past and why they do the things that they do. Like it's fantastic. Like.
It's one thing that I find interesting about Kylo Ren's characters. I found myself believing there was light in him often.
More than Anakin.
Well, his struggle like is very much like it must be. I don't. Is it the acting? Is it the writing? Like because when it's Adam Driver acting as if he has an internal struggle. Yeah, I believe it a lot.
Like
more.
when he's in his ship and he's gonna shoot where his mom's at, and he's like, and he doesn't do it. Like, he doesn't say anything. He acts it so well. Yeah. But the thing interesting about him is it's not really said objectively in the movie. Like it doesn't like hold your hand to explain what his character is. But it's not even necessarily like a struggle between the light and dark. Well, it is, but not literally. It's more the struggle with the people who represent those sides. Because you think about like in Force Awakens, Han and Leia are saying, "Oh, he's got too much Vader in him. Oh, there's so much Vader." Even Luke says that. So they're like they see just like an angry kid and it's like, "Oh, he might just be the next Vader." So they shove him off on Luke and it's like, "Hey, essentially fix him." And he can't do that. So Luke contemplates killing him. And he sees that. So it's like, okay, everyone on this side literally sees me as a monster. Like there's nothing I can do. I haven't done anything. It's just who I am. So instead of like, he just loses it and he's like, you know what, I'll just go to the dark side. But then when he goes to the dark side, it's kind of like what Han says in Force Awakens, where it's like they're just using you for your power. Yeah. And then during Last Jedi, he realizes that. Yeah. So and that's what it comes to, like the culmination, like the climax of the movie, where it's like, fuck both sides. Let's just tear it all down. Tear everything down. And to me, that's incredibly interesting because I could totally, like, it's almost like he's a kid. He's like a kid being like torn between two sides. He's like, you know what? Screw sides. Burn it.
Well, and that's the way someone his age would probably react, right?
Yeah.
Like, how teenagers tend to react if their parents are pushing them a certain way.
Sure. But even if I grew into an adult, I would still carry that. If like your family saw you as a monster, even though they still cared for you, and you go over this people, but they're just emotionally manipulating you because they want what you can do, and that's it. They don't give a shit about you. So it's like, I find that struggle incredibly interesting. Yeah. And it's all subtext. It's not like someone just says, this is how he thinks. Like it's very good. It's part of the reason he's my favorite character. He has more depth than a lot of other characters in Star Wars too.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely, and honestly, he's a very close second with Obi-Wan for me right now. Like I think they're, in terms of characters, but the next movie might just ruin everything. I don't know. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like he's my favorite character now, but I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, so even still, I can just pretend that movie doesn't exist. I'll just pretend that.
I was thinking it would be funny. We're not going to obviously do it, but it'd be funny to pretend we watched the last movie, not actually watch it, just watch Robot Chicken. Just for the last one, and never actually watch the last one.
I thought we were going to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special.
5 years from now, go out and watch it.
Yeah. So yeah, I went off my rant. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's I think we're probably all in agreement for the most part in this movie. I mean, there's some fantastic stuff. I really liked Rey in this movie too.
Oh yeah, I did too.
She's up there, top 5 characters for me for sure.
Yeah, she might be my favorite female character now. Like it's her and Leia. It's like neck and neck.
Yeah.
I think I'd take her over Leia now. Leia was really only good in A New Hope, I found.
I like her all the way.
I didn't like her as much.
Well, Return of the Jedi, she comes in with the bounty hunter armor. That's sick.
Yeah, that's true. True. Yeah, that's true.
I thought she got better after New Hope.
But I just didn't find they used her much. And kind of same as Padme. I mean, Padme wasn't up there, but
no.
I found I liked Padme's character more in Phantom Menace as it continued it.
When she gets demoted each movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Rey a lot in this movie. And they give her like a counterbalance, like her relationship with Kylo Ren, where it's like they're both kind of... Because one of the main themes of this movie is... It's essentially because the whole series deals with like binary morality, like light, dark. This movie's all about the moral gray.
Yeah,
and like I think Kylo Ren and Rey like have that relationship because they both represent the moral gray. Because even there's a scene where like Rey is like using the Force and he looks at that weird giant pit like the black pit.
Oh yeah.
Which is a cool visual.
Yeah.
And Luke is like, you didn't even think about it. You just went for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I think that signifies her as like also kind of in that neutral territory, kind of like Kylo Ren. So it kind of that relationship makes a lot of sense to me.
Do we want to talk about other lows?
Can we talk about the biggest low for me? Is the Poe storyline?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
You like that? Okay.
No, I don't necessarily like it, but I just wasn't thinking that.
It's a storyline where I don't know what they were going for, and it's a situation where if the two people had to just talk to each other,
yes.
like why doesn't Pink Hair Lady tell them like, hey, we're this is a diversion, we're gonna get all the refugees out, and it's like, just tell him, like. Yeah. And I'm like, what's the point of this?
I was quite. I mean, obviously, the Pink Lady was set up to be this.
Holdo's her name, I think.
Holdo.
Okay.
Holdo.
We'll call it Pink Lady.
Pink Hair Lady.
Pink Hair Lady. Who obviously in the end turned out to be a great character.
Yeah.
But the first 3/4 of her character, like, what the heck was that all about? Like you said,
yeah.
And it's like
explain it. Like, seemed to be the evil one. The main, the main
set up
character
to
fighting against it. I think that time.
Now I'm thinking about that might tie into the message of the movie about morality, where like you think she's like bad, but she isn't, and it's like okay. But it doesn't make any logical sense why she wouldn't just tell Poe this is the plan. Instead, she doesn't, and he interferes with the entire thing. He starts a mutiny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? Like, I would have just jettisoned him into space on that craft. It's like, we can't trust this guy.
And
he launched a mutiny.
Well, and like, think about how like it like jump started Finn's storyline,
which is another low point, sort of.
Which, because Finn was out there doing that, and he sold the plan, or like he gave up the plan to Benicio del Toro,
DJ, the codebreaker,
and he sold the plan to the First Order. So otherwise, they would have never known about the transporters going to the planet.
Sure, and like, but talking about the Finn storyline, ultimately that storyline is completely pointless. Because because they're like, we gotta get the codebreaker, we gotta stop them from cloaking, and like that plotline just disappears as soon as they're betrayed.
Completely pointless, but it does do a lot of characterization for Finn, and it like fleshes out this character who like kind of talks about, like, she has a pretty good line at the end where she's like, we shouldn't be fighting what we hate, we should be trying to save.
I have a huge problem with that. Rose, you're talking about.
Yeah.
She makes a speech that's essentially, don't sacrifice yourself for other people, while she sacrifices herself to save Finn.
No, it wasn't about not sacrificing. It was about...
Think about what she does.
Yes.
Finn is going to sacrifice himself to destroy them.
Yeah.
To stop them from getting the rest of the rebels. She sacrifices herself to stop Finn from killing...
But she didn't die.
But she didn't know she wasn't going to die.
She should have died. They both should have actually died.
So it's like, we shouldn't... So it's like, you did the thing that he was just about to do, except like his thing would have been more impactful.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The message is they're completely diluted. I know what you're saying. In spirit, that's a nice message, but her actions completely go against what she's saying.
So I there's another character, Rose, I'm a little torn about. I don't know, like, because it was very unsatisfying, that whole storyline. Like you said, half of the movie essentially was a plot and a storyline chase where it actually just ended up being for the worst.
That's a criticism a lot of people have that I tend to agree with, is that plot kind of goes nowhere.
That was frustrating to see.
The plot doesn't go anywhere. You're right, it doesn't go anywhere, but it sets up a character I really like DJ. Like, I'm a fan of Benicio del Toro, but also like he's kind of also embodies like the
moral gray. Yeah, because he's essentially the D&D neutral, like the true neutral, where it's like he just does things that will benefit him, and you can never really know what he's going to do. So he does tie into like the thematic arc of the movie, but it could have been done better. That's the thing. This movie has a lot of depth, but there are a lot of things that could have been handled better.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think about the character Rose?
We need to talk about that because...
is there something political about that?
Not political, but people hated it. It's the same thing as it happened to Anakin in Phantom Menace, where he got harassed and bullied. People didn't like her so much that she got harassed and bullied on social media and in real life.
Yeah, so she like quit social media and all that.
They just thought they just didn't like her.
Oh, okay, because all I heard, and we don't have to go into this, but all I heard was something about Asian hate or something. Was that actually what people were upset about?
Some other harassment was that, yeah. But there were other people who were legitimately just didn't like her character. Either way, don't harass anybody because you don't like how they act, the character they play in the movie. They're people. Yeah.
You can harass Chad for getting Star Wars.
He's not playing a character. But like, I just need to say that every time we talk about these movies, talk about the cult of Star Wars, where it's like, it's awful. Don't do it. Like, it's a movie. Don't harass anyone in real life because you don't like their character. That's stupid. Grow up, people.
I wouldn't say I didn't like her character.
I think she's fine.
I think she's fine. Yeah. She wasn't like a great character.
She's no Jar Jar.
In the end, I liked her character more in the end. But in the beginning, like, I don't know. I didn't really think much of her character for a while.
Yeah, I think she gets written out mostly out of Rise of Skywalker because of the hate she got. Oh, really? Which I'm like, no, like that's essentially caving to the people who are like being jerks online.
Should have made her the savior of everything.
Well,
she could turn into a Skywalker.
Well, just not demote her, I guess, is the main thing. She should have been
a Skywalker.
Well, just have her be a character. Like, I mean, I can't speak until we see the movie, but I've heard like she's just person at like Station B in like the ship or something and pushing buttons. Oh, really? From what I hear, I think she does have some lines, but not much. So it's like.
I mean, to go from a very significant part of the movie to that is kind of...
Yeah. Apparently that's happening with the Obi-Wan show, too, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's an actress in that that's also getting harassed in line. I don't know anything much about that, so I don't want to go on about it, but...
Star Wars fans are, like, so toxic.
The cult of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, like, the people who identify their entire personality based off of Star Wars, like, all they are is Star Wars, those people suck.
I think one of my big valleys... is Snoke. I feel like he's just like he turned into another character that
and you've seen the first 10 minutes of Rise of Skywalker.
Yes. Yeah. But it's just like he's another villain that's been killed off. But it's like it's not even that. It's kind of like
he has more character than Darth Maul does.
He does have more character, but
I'm still upset about Darth Maul.
Get over it. It was 20 years ago.
I'm still so upset.
It was 22 years ago.
They should have brought Darth Maul back.
They did. The Clone Wars show.
Oh, jeez. I thought we were talking about this next movie.
And Solo.
That's too late, guys.
And in Solo.
Yeah, he's
in Solo.
Maybe.
Well, I guess like my issue with it again, it's another guy that's killed off, but it's like we know so much about the Sith now and all that, where it's like, where did this guy come from? There's only supposed to be two Sith, like Palpatine and Vader. Where did Snoke come from? And like, I guess.
Well, that's the thing is like I was okay
Hopefully
with
the next movie explains that.
It will really early on, right, Chad?
Yeah.
Yep. I was kind of okay with them killing him off because because it ties into the other theme of the movie is that this movie is a deconstruction of Star Wars as a franchise. Where it's essentially like the past, get rid of it. Where it's like there's the part where like Luke is trying to get the sacred texts. Those sacred texts might as well be the script for the first 6 movies. And Yoda's like, yeah, light it up. It's like it doesn't matter what came before as long as you embody the strength and spirit and pass that on. That's all that matters. That's not just talking about the characters in the movie. That's talking about Star Wars in general. Is it like as Kylo Ren would say, we need to kill the past. What they're essentially saying is that there are certain things in Star Wars that we need to let go and move past in order to embrace new ideas. We keep the spirit of what it is, but you move on. And I think people who pick up on that message, like the people who hate the movie, I think that's what they don't like. The idea of the thing that they base their entire personality around, the cult of Star Wars, is that like, no, you can't do that. We need Jedi, Sith, dog fights in space. We need all of it. You can't change anything.
I could do that. The dog fights in space.
Sure. But so you'd be for change then. Like, even this movie is different in the sense that there's no freaking lightsaber fight in this movie. There's lightsabers in a fight, but there's no lightsaber versus lightsaber. And I think people don't like the movie because of that. And I'm like, that's refreshing to me.
Yeah. I guess like I get like Snoke's his death, I didn't so much have a problem with. Like it served, like what you just said, it served the purpose.
Yeah. It's killing off the past. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, oh, we just have this other new mysterious villain that we know nothing about. And now he's gone again.
So for the first probably 15 minutes, I thought he was played by Benedict Cumberbatch. the voice sounds very close.
Who is he played by?
Andy Serkis.
That's what I figured. Yeah, Gollum.
So,
Gollum, yeah.
because I liked the character, like sort of, I guess.
I liked his robe, his weird robe, his sex robe. That's what it looks like. It looks something like exotic.
I can't picture.
Was it like a cheetah pattern?
I can't picture it.
It was shiny. I don't think it was a cheetah pattern. I'll see if I can find a picture of it.
Well, not now. Don't do it now.
We'll do it now.
Keep talking.
I just saw a picture. I did like when Kylo Ren smashed the mask.
Yes, I like that too.
And then embraced his face, basically.
Yeah. Well,
I really like that.
It's symbolic to the rest of the movie because that's when you find out more about him. He's literally breaking the mask.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of depth to this movie.
More than any other movie.
More than any of them. Yeah, I agree.
And people hate it.
Well, I think those people
are stupid.
I wouldn't go that far, because I like Attack of the Clones. And
I was just joking.
Okay, no, I'm going to keep looking. Is there any other kind of valleys we want to talk about?
Because type in Snoke sex robe.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Just joking.
Because I'd like to talk about other high points, other things we liked. Like, I know you guys just said you didn't like the dogfights. I know you said you didn't like that Hux was like the butt of the joke. Yeah. But that opening was like, it was exciting. It was enough flash for me and all that. Like with Poe destroying the whatever it was, the dreadnought.
Dreadnought.
Yeah. I like the part where Rose's sister and the bombs.
Yes,
that was cool. That's probably my favorite part of that section.
The whole the shot of it too, with all the bombs like dropping like around her or whatever. I really like that. Like it looked.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. So
I like the clinking of metal as they're. It just felt very precarious though.
Yes.
It's like that's not how you'd store bombs ideally.
But it's a cool visual.
But it is a cool visual.
Yeah.
Any
more high points?
Other high points. There were some comedic moments I liked, especially on the island when Chewbacca's about to eat one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked Chewbacca in this movie.
Yeah, he's funny.
He had some great spots.
I didn't realize until this much rewatching that he's literally eating the porg.
Yes.
I thought it was some unrelated animal, but then I looked at the feet and I'm like, that's a porg.
And they're all like,
what are you doing? Yeah. I also felt bad for all the little caretaker aliens.
Yes, the other funny moment was when Rey cut that
in their
stone.
wheelbarrow.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, they probably worked all day to get that, moving that. I'm like, I felt so bad for them.
It was a comedic moment that worked. I thought it was really good.
There's a part where they destroy one of the houses in the village too. It's like they're gonna have to work all day on that. Like probably more than one day. It's like jerks.
Those were some funny moments. I liked the crystal creatures on.
The foxes.
Yeah,
those are neat.
Cool. That was really the whole last battle. There was a lot of design choices that I just really liked. Like the setting of the planet, like the salt flat, like the very visual. Like
that was. So what was going on there? It was the white topping with the red underneath. So what was that exactly?
I don't know.
The white was salt.
The white was salt, but I don't know what the red was.
It was just the earth color. Just
I
the
guess.
color of the earth. Okay.
The one problem I have with that is it's a little too similar looking to Hoth for me. Even like what's going on, it's like the Empire with big machines going after the Rebel base.
Yeah.
And it's right after, and that scene happens right after Kylo Ren's like, we need to tear everything down. Everything needs to be different. We need to change. And then the next scene is like really reminiscent of Hoth.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're kind of going back on what you just said.
Honestly, for the first while, I thought it was the same planet. They were just going back to their old.
I could understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That's a sex robe. Look, it's even shining.
Yeah, okay.
Adam, put a picture of that in.
Yeah. Are you doing this one?
I thought you were doing this one.
No, I'll probably do this one.
Okay.
You don't want to do the next one.
I don't want to do any.
Okay. What else? I liked Benicio del Toro. I thought a lot of the acting, like everywhere, like Andy Serkis as Snoke, all the main characters, I liked them.
I would say for acting personally, and I know this is controversial, I didn't like Mark Hamill as much, and I didn't like Rose as much in the acting. Finn, I've never really gotten on board with Finn too much. Like, I like him as a character.
I like his fight against Phasma. That was kind of cool.
Fight against Phasma.
Who a character we've never talked about, because she's essentially just the Boba Fett of these movies, where she's just there to look cool and do nothing.
Yeah, so, okay. So she's just Is she a bounty hunter or
I think
part of
she's
the stormtrooper?
she's like a
stormtrooper.
captain, like the stormtrooper,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
an elite stormtrooper.
Well, she's literally Captain Phasma. Yeah,
Captain Phasma.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't even know if she comes back. I don't think she could survive. She fell into like a.
I know. Well, I thought she was on the Death Star in the last one and got blown
I
up.
mean, Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base.
They're different. One's bigger.
One's 4 times bigger or something.
Yeah. This isn't the Death Star at all.
I liked Yoda's appearance, and they used the puppet.
He was a puppet.
Yeah, I like that.
It was like the first time. It's like the first time I haven't seen him since Return of the Jedi. He had personality again.
He was very much like Empire Yoda.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, where you were in the last 3, like all the prequels, but I feel like I haven't seen you at all. This is great. Yay!
I did like Yoda in this too, like just what he ended up doing. It was neat seeing the old guard actually stand up for the new approach of things, like stop dwelling on the past, stop thinking like these texts are everything when no one. He's like, did you even read it? You know, it's like,
You need to burn the scripts for the prequels.
but like so Yoda's power to actually bring lightning into the real world. So there's a lot of things in this movie, like Snoke making the connection between them.
I don't think that,
like.
I kind of wish they didn't have that.
I think he's lying about that because they had that connection after he died.
Yeah.
It happens after he dies.
Does it? Yes, it does. You're right. In the last part of the movie, it does.
Unless he doesn't die.
No one's ever really gone.
He's part of the Force making that connection happen still. I don't know, but what purpose would that serve him?
We'll think about it. Even after Luke dies, his dice stay around for a while. His hologram dice.
Yeah.
Maybe it lingers for a bit. Either way, I think it would have been more interesting if Rey and Kylo just formed that connection when they fought in that forest.
Yeah,
that would have been more interesting. But yeah,
I was wondering. When the last time we watched Force Awakens, I was wondering, there was a point where he's like entering her mind, looking for the rebel base. I was wondering, like, is this where like the connection is formed? Like knowing what's happening in Last Jedi, but like also knowing that like Rian Johnson completely like rewrote the script, so it's not, or rewrote the script from the ground up.
Yeah,
with no intention. Like
he didn't follow what JJ was gonna do.
Like I don't think you could say anything from that was done in Force Awakens was done with intention to affect anything in this movie.
No, but I think it works. I think it actually does work in a way, even if it wasn't intentional. Like you can definitely see like that in the characters, like in both movies. Like the characters are still consistent between both movies.
Yeah. Well, that might just be Rian Johnson's writing. Like he obviously he's like not going to throw out the movie and like completely.
You have to watch them. You have to take what the previous director gave you and move forward.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen with Rise of Skywalker. They threw everything out because no one likes this movie apparently.
So it's I wouldn't say like we haven't seen it, but
I'm gonna keep shitting on it anyway.
I know, but
I don't care.
I wouldn't think that it was, even after we do see it, I'm still not going to think, well, it was JJ's fault. It was him who threw it. Like it's probably backlash. Like
it was Disney. It was Disney because they were like we got to do something. People didn't like the last movie. What do we do?
Yeah.
Fan service. Have the movie be nothing but fan service. All that other stuff people didn't like. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
I have a bad feeling I'm going to like Rise of Skywalker.
Probably.
I don't know. There's something that the point that made me turn it off.
The first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's bad.
You're going to look at that, and whatever happened, you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, well, that was dumb. I feel like you're going to say that. You might go on. We might watch the rest of the movie and we might all see stuff in it that we like. And I feel like you might enjoy stuff more. Like the action will keep your attention more, but assuming there's action.
Coming from someone who is like, oh, they're bringing the Death Star back again, I can pretty much guarantee you that you're not going to like the first 10 minutes of Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Based on that.
Well, do you know what's funny about that? Like, if you think, okay, we're going to bring fan service, bring stuff back, whatever. The Death Star was like the worst thing. It failed horribly with the Empire. Yeah. It was just like, it was cool in its visual effects, but that's as far as it went.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like something to bring back.
A lot of the coolest things fail horribly. Boba Fett failed horribly, and they brought him back. He got eaten by a sand monster.
Yeah, they brought him back, and that failed horribly too.
Yeah. I mean, Darth Maul gets cut in half. They brought him back. But he failed horribly.
But he's also, people do like him in the shows, I think.
Yeah, they do, because they actually give him something to do.
Yeah.
I just meant more as like the storyline of the what, they're not the Empire. What are they called now?
The First Order.
First Order. Like just in terms of the logic of their strategy of building something that wasn't the best, but unless they change it and block the hole, plug the hole down.
I don't think.
Anyway,
like if they do future Star Wars, do you think they're going to bring back the Death Star like again? Like. I really hope they don't. Like,
do you know what the tagline is for this movie?
What?
Let the past die.
Yeah. Which is why the Rise of Skywalker annoys me so much. It's like, let the past die, and there's nothing but fan service.
Princess Leia, or General Leia, or whatever.
You're talking about her Supermaning through space.
Yeah. So what the frig was that?
The Force.
That was she can manipulate the Force.
Yeah. Or she always could.
Okay.
She's Anakin's daughter, dude.
Yeah, it's I had a little bit.
So why is she not a Jedi?
Because she didn't get trained.
She was never trained.
Yeah.
Oh, Rey was never trained.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Luke was never trained. Pretty much.
I guess she had no interest. Sort of. She wanted to be an admiral. She wanted different career choices.
I mean,
but that's like extreme power to be able to stop yourself from imploding in space,
and then flying,
and like. So also like the things that Rey was able to do, and even Kylo Ren, and even just the idea of what Luke was potentially able, even what Luke did, like bring himself and holographically show himself and fight, and like there's all these things. I was like, it kind of breached what I expected. Which I'm okay with the idea that they raised the bar a little bit. They kind of did that with the prequels, right? Like, because they have
abilities and
stuff. Yeah, like they raised the bar with what they're capable of, but it's almost like they went a little too far.
Well,
I feel like the next movie is going to be really.
Well, I was going to say, when we recorded this today, the last episode of the Obi-Wan show just came out. If you want to see the Force taken to its most absolute extreme limits, you should probably watch the show.
Do they blow up a planet by thinking about it?
Not that hard, but like it's pretty like holy shit.
I want to watch the Obi-Wan
They could
series.
it's all right.
Okay, cool.
Last episode's really fun, but you talking about Leia, it reminded me. We need to pour one out for Akbar
because he died.
Akbar died.
Yeah, which is, and it's kind of like. It's funny because it was very like purposeful where they're like all the like in charge people died.
They're like Akbar and everyone else. They phrase it like that. It's like,
very purposefully.
Akbar and then some other assholes. Who cares?
But they like let Leia survive. But like, so they must have had plans for her in Rise of Skywalker, but she died.
She died not long after this movie. So.
After the filming was done for this, but she died before the movie came out.
From what I hear, she is in Rise of Skywalker a little bit. Like I think might have been archival footage.
Kind of like what they did. She was in Rogue One as well.
Yeah,
and they used.
I don't think I think there was just leftover footage from Last Jedi that they used, but I can't speak to that. I'm not sure, but that's just what I heard.
One other thing that I really liked in the movie from a purely action standpoint in that was when Holdo went into light speed into the other fleet and she like destroyed the fleet at the end. Nobody else. This is crickets.
It's a dogfight, right?
Wow.
Who? Sorry.
The pink-haired lady.
Oh yeah.
When she,
I know. I'm sorry.
That's how I thought too. I'm like Holdo,
the pink-haired lady.
Oh, pink-haired lady. Yeah.
When she.
It all makes sense.
It all makes
sacrificed herself.
Yeah.
It was visually very.
Yeah.
I liked
Except the only two people survived in that whole giant ship when she went through, and they somehow managed to get in a pod and escape.
It wasn't the only two. I mean, like
movie's not perfect.
Yeah.
like Kylo Ren was in that ship and stuff, and he survived. And I didn't.
Obviously, there were parts that didn't get direct hit, but
I didn't like BB-8 controlling the walker thing, though. It's just like it was just a little bit like, But
we talked about action. I thought you were going to talk about probably my favorite one is the Rey and Kylo Ren fighting the red stormtroopers.
That is a good one.
In the all red room. Yeah, I really like that because they have like those cool, like it's a lot of variety because they have they got like spears and they got like little hand hatchets with the lasers on it. There's a whip at some point. I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. And that's something we haven't really seen is like a bunch of guys with like different weapon types versus people with lightsabers, and they're like fighting like a bunch of them all in one. It's like visually really cool.
And the room like setting on fire. There's probably some kind of metaphor there that I didn't pick up on, but like it burnt down all the red sheets, and so then it was like you could see space. There's
a part where like they kick one of the red stormtroopers into like a pit in the ground, and it's like confetti. It's like human confetti, and I'm like, whoa, that was awesome.
I knew that was what you were going to go for.
It was. I love it whenever Star Wars gets weirdly hardcore out of nowhere. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
How did I'm just trying to remember? How did the Rey and Kylo Ren after that scene? What did they do again?
Well, that's the part where he's like, "Join me. We need to burn everything down."
Right.
And then they fight over the lightsaber. They have the Force tug of war with the lightsaber, and then the lightsaber breaks. And then she gets into an escape pod. I guess is that what happens? I forget. Yeah, I kind of forget too.
I don't think it's shown, but she somehow ends up on the Millennium Falcon.
She's on the Millennium Falcon in the fight, but I don't remember how she gets out of there. And then,
I think it's when she shows up in the battle is the next time we see her, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think they do say she took Lord Snoke's escape pod. Huck says that.
Oh, yeah.
They do. I just remembered. Yeah.
Yeah. So she met up with Chewie somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was explained.
Yeah. No. The other thing was the tracker beacon thing between, eventually Finn and Rey. Was that ever? Did they ever bring that up again?
I don't know.
They just talked about it and like Finn carried it around.
I don't even know what it
looked
does.
Looked at it and then it didn't. Well, it was just basically a tracker in the sense that Rey could know where they are.
Know where they are. Okay.
But I don't remember.
Oh, that's why he tries to get away, so she won't go to the ship where everyone's pinned down. Okay, doomed, Never thought about that.
The tracking through light speed was like everyone was super surprised over that. I loved that part. Like it was just like, they can do that. Like even down to the crew, they're like, no, they can't. Yeah. They can do that. What?
And then they had a whole storyline of like, let's stop it, and then I guess not.
And also making Poe seem like the bad guy, not the bad guy, but like.
Well, they make Pink Hair Lady look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out Poe is actually the bad guy who's being a stupid asshole.
Yeah, which I don't know.
Yeah, watching this movie knowing that, like I did, it's like Poe's such a stupid asshole. Like,
oh, really?
Because you wouldn't know watching your first time, but watching it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, just listen to her. Like, just listen to her. Also, lady, you could just tell him what your plan is.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest blunder of the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
like. Yeah, for how he's acting, it would be so simple for them to be like. I mean, this is what we're doing. But also at the same time, it's like almost like there's like this like rivalry between them because she's like, oh, you don't have this rank anymore because Leia like demoted you.
But even so, it's like frustrating.
I don't think I deserve, or you don't deserve to know what's going on.
I think the reason is because she says like you're a hotshot, you're a loose cannon.
Yeah,
I want your gun and your badge.
I know. Like, what the heck was that all? Like, I'm so confused because she's obviously around Leia enough to know the dynamic between Poe and Leia because they. He's always saying, I want to do this, and she's saying no, and then eventually she goes, no, go for it because it's the only option, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I think the logic is that, like, if he knows the plan, he'll be a hotshot and screw it up, but him not knowing the plan, he
made it worse.
He was a hothead and he screwed it up. So it's like, maybe if the movie was different and she had told the plan, he would have been like, no, I'm going to go fight them anyway.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Would he, like, even, like, be okay with that plan?
At that point, just kick him out of the fucking rebellion.
It's true, but logically, it could be a symbolism. We have a plan. You know, like she didn't even say that. It's more like we're just gonna go ahead, or I don't even know if she said that.
You just need to trust the chain of command, no matter what they tell you to do, which is a terrible message.
But do you think they would have had those feelings about Poe and all that if what happened at the start of the movie didn't happen? Like, yeah, they took down a dreadnought, but he also cost them like so much of their fleet doing that, and by the sounds of it, it was probably his plan.
Yeah,
like it kind of like it, the whole plan, like him like distracting the people, calling them dummies and all that, being like, oh, I can't get a hold of you or whatever. Like that's very much like, oh, that's Poe's character. Like he probably came up with this plan.
Is that the beginning when he makes the fake call?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the comedic point where I'm like, what is this movie? Like,
I kind of liked it at first, but then it drug on a little bit.
It drug on a little too much. Yeah.
Kyle, you're probably excluded from this a bit, but I kind of wanted to make some predictions about the next movie.
Well, we all can, really.
Yeah. We all can.
I can make predictions about things I don't know. The problem is I know a lot of things about it.
So
we know it's going to be bad, according to Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes and every review site ever. It's bad.
Remember when I said I made that chart?
That's what I'm going.
Yeah, it was unanimously. So, by the way, in that list, The Last Jedi was number 3.
I know,
Average.
which is weird because it's like the most polarizing. So
yeah,
it's
I think
strange.
some people there was like 1 or 2 reviewers that had it low, but the rest had it up high. I think.
Yeah. I think it's just people like don't want that from a Star Wars movie. I think that might be it. Like their expectations are different from what they got, and because of that, you're never going to get a movie like this again. Like they're never going to go out of their way to make something like this. Like this is it, which is kind of a shame because this movie had so much depth to it. So it's stupid cult Star Wars.
Just weird. I'm looking at Rise of Skywalker on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
and like. The critics' review is 52%, which is probably on par for what we're thinking.
And then the audience score is 86.
Yeah.
So what's Club Last Jedi?
Last Jedi, I'm assuming, is going to be the opposite. High critic score, low audience score.
It is.
That's what I'm going to assume.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Without even looking.
I don't know how to navigate Rotten Tomatoes all that well. I'll just search it. Oh, I'm searching
you gotta type
Rotten Tomatoes and Rotten Tomatoes.
Oops. Last Jedi.
I'm pretty confident.
So
I fucking knew it.
Yeah, it's certified fresh by the critics. 91%.
But audience gave it a 42.
Not very often. I agree with the
and do you know what's funny? It's 42% audience rating over 100,000 plus ratings.
Yeah,
because I think double what the ratings of Rise of Skywalker had.
Yeah, so. Like the way I'm at is like I don't even look at the audience score. I don't even look at that because that's just me. I appreciate a critic review more than an audience score. So like,
I'm usually the opposite.
I know, but that's just not how I work. Yeah. But but I agree with that Last Jedi critical review, and I don't agree with the audience score at all. So based on that, Rise of Skywalker, I'm probably not going to like it.
IMDb user ratings for The Last Jedi, they rated it a 6.9.
Which is pretty low out of 10.
Pretty low out of 10.
Could be lower for sure.
Could be lower.
Could be low.
It's not as low as Rotten Tomatoes audience score.
And Rise of Skywalker was 6.6.
Okay, so.
Which, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, again, my scale has been like entertainment value through all of these movies. And this one kept my interest the most.
Which is surprising.
It had a lot of elements.
I thought it'd be like the most boring to you because it's mostly just people talking and not a lot of action.
Yeah, but it was done well, like visually, and I was interested in the story. Like, you know how
there's intrigue in like Luke's story, like what happened?
Luke's story and Kylo Ren's story.
Yeah,
like it's like because to me it's this the whole movie. Is there a chance Kylo Ren actually is going to be the good guy?
Yeah.
And then when he kills Snoke, I was like, oh, cool. Like, is this going to be?
No.
But then who's the villain?
There is no hero and villain. It's morally gray. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But then Rey is still kind of like definitely leaning to the light side. But,
sure.
And her choices will always be will be the morally best choices.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean she doesn't contemplate the gray and the dark. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which just, I don't know, it makes for a good movie.
It makes for an interesting movie. Like
I liked it all around.
I don't know what the audience score is problem, but like I like the movie.
I think I like it more than Attack of the Clones.
I do too. But that's not even hard for me to say.
I want to make so I just want to make some predictions. So Kylo Ren and Rey. Let's start there.
I'm going to predict that they're going to make out at some point in the next movie.
So I see that Finn and Rose kind of have this connection. I think Rose is going to survive. She's still alive.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I know for a fact she's still alive.
Okay, so I think they're going to grow closer in this, and Kylo Ren and Rey are.
They're going to make out really hard, and it's going to be awkward. That's what I'm going to guess.
Yeah, and because they obviously set it up to be Rey and Finn.
Yeah.
And even towards the end, they were still happy, but then, the kiss with Rose and all that stuff and the feelings. And I thought she was going to die, and then
but is it reciprocated by Finn? It's just a kiss from.
Yeah,
Rose.
She kisses him, and he's like, "What was that?" Like, I feel like he was thinking about what I was thinking about in the movie. It's like, wait, you said I shouldn't sacrifice myself by sacrificing yourself, and then you what? And you kiss what?
So I'm going to guess that there's going to be something there. There's going to be love is going to save the day somehow. Is my guess.
I'm going to guess. Yeah, Kylo Ren and Rey are going to make out, and I don't like that because I think they have an interesting relationship without putting romantic stuff on it. But I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure it's going to happen.
I accidentally saw a trailer for The Rise of Skywalker, and I heard something about Palpatine.
Ooh. Yep.
What's your prediction?
So when I heard the voice, my first instinct was like, oh crap. And then I was like, I'm actually kind of intrigued now. Like, how does he come back? Or like, what does that mean? Is it like, I don't know. Like, I have a feeling, because I think the line I heard, I stopped it immediately after that. The line I heard was, you have no idea how long I've been waiting, or something like that. And so I'm like,
no one's ever really gone. I remember that from the trailer. Yeah. So I know.
So I think there's going to be Palpatine.
Yeah,
He's going to be the
Palpatine. He's either going to be a Force ghost, or he survived somehow, or he's a clone, or he's making clones in a fish tank. I'm assuming.
Are these real?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm guessing, but I'm assuming he made all the clones in a fish tank. I'm just assuming that.
Okay.
I'm assuming Rey is gonna get a Darth Maul lightsaber, but it's gonna be yellow. I'm gonna assume that. Like the dual, because it makes sense because she uses a staff.
Oh.
I always thought she should use the Darth Maul thing, and it's gonna be yellow to make her seem different from everyone else. That's what I'm gonna say.
I think pink would be a better suiting color.
No, not for Rey. For Finn, yeah. Actually, no, yellow would be better for Finn because it's the color of cowards.
Well, I was thinking pink because it's close to red, but not.
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought you were going to say it's because she's a girl.
No.
You sexist.
So, going off the name Rise of Skywalker, which you have to assume.
Oh, the biggest thing we didn't talk about, the kid at the end of the movie.
Oh!
Holy crap.
The Viva la Resistance kid.
Yeah,
But
and then
he
he's
has
clearly a
Force.
Jedi.
Yeah.
I was like, is this going to be Luke's son?
No, I think
no.
he's just a Force-sensitive kid.
Well, the Rise of Skywalker is the next
No,
movie.
Rise of Skywalker is Kylo Ren, I think. Because he's a Skywalker.
I think it's going to be Rey because she has no last name. She's just going to steal the last name.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's the other thing that So a lot of people are upset about Rey's lineage in Last Jedi. They're like, she's nothing special.
I know her real lineage, so I'm not going to say what it is.
They're talking about she's nothing special. So I think Disney went back and changed it, and she's.
I like that she's nothing special though.
Yes.
It makes her more
I was going to
interesting.
say, it's kind of like Anakin. Wasn't he born of the Force?
He was a chosen one. He was Space Jesus.
Yeah.
I was assuming Rey is that as well.
But it's
Okay.
But it's the whole prequels are there's all kinds of Jedi. It's not some lineage thing where it's just one family that.
Well, I think it passes down genetically though. It must, which is weird going back to the prequels because I think the Jedi are celibate. Isn't that a huge waste? You should be banging this. You got to refill your numbers. Bang everyone.
That's why they're dying off.
That's going to be the next series.
Yeah, it's that. That was the real thing they needed to say. Everyone, we need to
bring back Snoke in that robe.
We need to start banging. Jedi and the Sith. We need to start making offspring right now. Everyone start banging.
Kylo Ren comes out with his no shirt.
Yeah.
And a robe.
Yeah.
I have a new outlook.
It gives the Rise of Skywalker a whole new meaning.
up until this movie, I assumed Rey was a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought then there was going to be revealed on the island. Luke is going to be, and he's going to say, "No, I'm your father," or something like that.
They wouldn't do that because you got to kill the past.
Well,
yes, I am your father. Yes, I am not your father.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I am not your father.
They left it like so ambiguous in like the first movie about who her parents are.
Yeah.
Where it was like, but it's like, why would it be Luke?
I remember people saying at the time it was Obi-Wan's granddaughter, possibly.
I think I heard something about that too.
Yeah.
So
that was fan theory.
That was a fan theory, yeah.
Do we know if does the information come out in the next movie?
It does.
Okay.
And I know what it is, so I'm not going to say anymore.
Yeah, don't.
Like, I think they retconned it because...
Yeah, because, like, your parents were nothing. They were nothing.
Because when she was in the cave, which is actually another scene I wanted to ask about.
I like that cave scene.
I like the cave scene, but so she's like, show me my parents.
And she
then
sees herself.
It sees herself. So then I thought, okay, Force, like she was born of the Force. In other words, she doesn't have parents.
I think it's more metaphorical. I don't think it's supposed to be taken literally. I read something about Rian Johnson talking about that scene. I forget what he said, but he said it was more metaphorical as opposed to literal.
It was a cool scene that...
Oh, yeah, that was a super cool scene.
Yeah.
I love that scene, actually.
Yeah. So this kid, I think he's going to be Luke's son.
I'm going to say that he's no one's son, and he's just someone there to show that the Jedi aren't going to die off. Because they're still Force-sensitive kids.
That's a good point.
That's all I ever saw it as.
We'll find out in the next movie. I was immediately looked to the poster after that to see if there's a kid that shows up like fighting. I was hoping that if they at least bring him back, this next movie be like a jump to it at least, so there's like he had time to grow up and
I think
at the end of the movie they talked like the Rebel Alliance has to then go like rebuild and so I'm assuming there's going to be a passing of time. Is my assumption.
I don't know.
Kind of like between Return of the Jedi or
Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
They all
Empire
they all have time skips.
Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Like because that was a lot bigger of that was a bigger time.
I think it was
jump
4 years or something.
It's not as big as the Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones jump, which was like 10 years.
Yeah. So I guess I'm predicting that will be a bigger scene than it will be.
I can't say much more for predictions.
I definitely am excited to watch it though.
I am too.
I'm not because everyone told me like for instance Attack of the Clones. Everyone's like, oh, you're gonna hate the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
Well, that's why I think I like Last Jedi so much because everyone told me I was gonna hate it before I saw it, and I'm like, I like that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I'm hoping that this movie is at least not terrible.
Watchable.
I'm hoping it's watchable.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it too. I'll probably enjoy it, but in a different way than I would enjoy a regular movie.
But I'm super curious about all the things where, like, Chad, you only watched 10 minutes of it. Like, I'm really curious about what.
Oh, I've seen that 10 minutes. I've seen that 10 minutes, and
Okay.
I don't blame him at all.
I'm so curious about it. I want to watch it tonight, but I won't.
No.
I mean, this was at a time. I think when I sat down to watch it was when we were talking about doing this podcast. I was like, well, if we're doing this, I have to like know what happened in in Rise of Skywalker. So I sat and I was just like,
nope.
Maybe I'll wait till later to watch it.
Well, I think we're gonna have to watch it before the next podcast.
Do we have to watch it?
I don't know. Do we want to have a watch party, or do you just want to watch it at home? Do we want to be miserable together or miserable separately?
Okay, well let's wrap it up here. I mean, I'm sure there's lots more to talk about. In general, we love the movie.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Not my favorite, but I respect it more than probably any other Star Wars movie.
So you like it more than the prequels or the sequels so far? Like
I like this more than the prequels for sure. I like the original. I've said before the original trilogy are my top three.
Yeah,
but this is probably 4.
4.
Yeah.
If this isn't 2, it's 3 for me.
Okay.
It'd be Empire, and then it's fighting with Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Okay.
Where does Revenge of the Sith rank for you guys?
6.
Revenge of the Sith ranks 6.
Oh yeah. If I was going more, I would say if Last Jedi is 4, 5 is Force Awakens, and then Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
And then the bottom 2, everyone knows what it is.
It's probably that's probably the same with me.
Yeah.
Again, my caveat: Rogue One would be thrown up in the top there too for me.
Still haven't seen it.
I really want to watch that one. Obviously, we're not going to do a podcast about it. But,
Yeah.
Well, that's not obvious, I guess.
I don't know. If we ever get around to watching
to
it.
Us.
Yeah. Can't we just do an in memoriam to Akbar?
2 minutes of silence.
Yeah. Justice for Akbar.
Let's do 10 minutes of silence. 10 seconds of silence, sorry.
Okay.
Wait, it's a trap.
You better not leave that in.
Yeah. I was just going to start singing a song.
Oh.
In the arms of
the arms of the squid man.
I'm going to go.